Hello! This video is going to be a bit different as I want to sit down and talk about my goals to become a full-time artist. So I'll leave a speed paint of this illustration that I made of these children having a sleepover in the basement of their home, and the older sister is telling stories to her little brother while he listens in awe. I'll be starting off with a little backstory on how this all started, the goals I want to reach, and the steps I will take to get to these goals. I also will possibly over-explain everything for my backstory and ramble a bunch of nonsense, so the timestamps are all in the description in case you want to go straight to the goals, because it is a lot. So, quick disclaimer, I want to acknowledge how privileged I am to be able to have the opportunity and time to even start my art career journey, because not many people have the chance to just live at home with their parents after being laid off of a job and not having to immediately job search due to bills and payments. I really appreciate the position I am in to even be able to consider this as a career goal, and I hope that my acknowledgement is noticed. Now, on to the video. So, a long backstory. I have always loved creating art since I was a wee itty-bitty child, like many, and would always do it in my casual times. I think I started thinking about what I wanted to do for my future career in middle school with anything in the art industry. At first, I thought about becoming an architect because that made the most sense because of the starving artist stereotype. Even with that in mind, I had the idea of selling my art online on the side, and for some reason, back in the old days where Instagram was solely a picture posting platform, my two best friends and I in middle school started an Instagram account. We would post pictures of our original drawings and handmade bracelets, write the price of the items in the description, and we had no idea how we would ship these items or actually sell them and make money off of them. I suppose we thought of emailing somehow. Not to mention the fact that we took horrible quality photos with terrible dark lighting, so it looked like straight out of a murderer's home. Clearly that failed, but looking back at this age, I really love laughing about it with them at our innocence and stupidity. Once I got to high school, I think I still had my interest in becoming an architect and wanted to pursue that as my main career goal. In high school, we had required curriculars, and I don't remember all of them, but I chose Introduction to Interior Design because I felt that was the closest to architecture. And it was! We learned the fundamentals of how to design a floor plan and use the software that was needed for the floor plans. And once I actually did all of this, I realized that I hated it, and realized that becoming an architect might not be ideal for me. It became clearer that studio art or fine arts filled my cup more, so I started joining some art classes. As time went by, I became more interested in the animation industry as my next main career goal. In the meantime, I decided to open an Etsy shop for the first time where I made prints of my traditional paintings and illustrations. I wanted to try again for the second time, selling my art online on the side, this time making prints of my artwork from Staples printing services. But I realized in this phase that I had no idea for how to run an e-commerce store and couldn't even answer the questions they asked before listing a product on Etsy. Senior year comes 2020, and you know that means the worldwide pandemic. In the middle of trying to figure out what college I wanted to go to and what I wanted to major in comes lockdown. I ended up, though, choosing business at a community college instead of university because even though my grades were all good, I sucked at standardized testing. Specifically, the ACT tests, which is like the SAT tests, if you didn't know. Because of this, I felt that I wasn't qualified to go to university and decided for the cheaper, but also very underrated choice of community college. But how did I choose business as my major when I clearly wanted to be an artist in my career? Well, there wasn't much of an animation degree at the time at this college, and due to the voices of my family members and feeling at the time that studio art would be not a useful degree. Side note, I meant not a useful degree for me. Please don't cancel me. I felt that business made the most sense at the time. I also felt that I could build my portfolio for the animation industry while in school, since I learned that it wasn't necessary to have an animation degree itself for the industry. So, after being accepted into the college, I did my courses online due to the lockdown, and while being at home for everything, I realized I wanted to try again with Etsy. In between my second attempt at creating a shop before this one, I researched quite a bit about how shipping works and what everything meant. I wanted to try again with my Etsy shop, and I spent quite a bit of money on supplies, thinking that my Instagram, which I did not have much interaction with my followers on, would be enough. I obviously didn't get any sales, and it failed again. I think that I had relied too much on Etsy's marketing for some reason, or that I would suddenly be pushed into the light where customers would see me, but clearly that was not the case. So this was the third failed attempt at trying to sell my art online. A bit demoralizing, but I think it was fun learning something from it each time. After opening my shop, once quarantine was lifted, I decided to get a part-time job to earn back all that money I lost from buying all the supplies for it. I also still tried building my portfolio for the animation industry, but very messily because I just threw in my illustrations that did not feel cohesive in there. But things went by slowly because I was also trying to go through my courses for my business degree and soon realized how stressed I was. With having to both focus on being a full-time student with courses that had nothing to do with what I want to do, my job, and trying to build my portfolio, I realized that things weren't really getting anywhere. That's where I decided to take a gap year from the college and enroll in the CG Master Academy to get better at character design and 2D animation. A really great online school alternative to art schools, by the way, and you earn a certificate after you... I recorded this part so much that I just stopped caring. After each course. Anyway, after taking the courses from this academy, I learned quite a bit from what is needed to break into the animation industry. Too bad, as the time went by with applying and building my portfolio, I realized that I didn't want to join the industry anymore. A Bit Frank's video, Scary Truths About the Animation Industry, explains a lot of the horrors that can happen, especially when just breaking in. I know everyone's experience can be different, but I also realized that there weren't really any opportunities for me in the state that I live in, and I was getting nowhere with applying to jobs to break into the industry remotely. I did have the idea of moving to California for a higher chance of breaking in, since that's where most studios resided in, but as time went by, I also thought about how I didn't really want to have to face the stress of finding a new job each time a project would end or be canceled. I know the industry has plenty of good pros and not everyone experiences these situations or they don't mind these situations, but I realized that I was not committed enough for this career path. Then I started thinking. It was in my face the whole time. My aspirations and what I wanted to do. From 7 years ago to now, I have always loved the idea of running my own art shop and selling my own handmade products. Though those first 3 failed attempts could have been diminishing to my dreams, I actually became more motivated than ever because I knew where to start first, and that was to build an audience. Though I know it is not always necessary to have a social media presence to have a successful art career, with the goals that I wanted to reach, I personally felt that it would be helpful to me to build a sustainable future. So I decided I wanted to make YouTube videos. Not only that, making videos itself started becoming my passion project too. That was when the start of the perfect chocolate chip cookie recipe video bloomed into my brain. I wanted to build an audience on this platform to not necessarily become a YouTuber as my main career, but also to use it as a tool to lead to my online shop, along with other passion projects such as creating a comic and even possibly creating a game in the future. But I'm getting ahead of myself with all of these ideas. The bottom line was that I wanted to be able to create for myself and bring my ideas to life. Thus started my long journey of creating my first video on this channel. Because it was taking so long, around close to a year since making the video, in the third quarter of 2023, I started feeling doubtful and realized that it shouldn't take me a year to make one YouTube video if I wanted to start this journey sooner. I was so stressed and burnt out because I felt that I was a failure, that I was getting older and everyone was already starting their careers or graduating. Back to back with other responsibilities, work, and trying to get this video together, I wondered if this really was sustainable for me. I started losing my passion for the project, my art, creating, and not allowing myself to just breathe and have fun. The video was all I could focus on every day, and I barely did any other art piece throughout the time frame of making it. I probably shouldn't have been as hard on myself as I was because the entire video was fully colored, fully rendered, and practically animated, let alone being 8 minutes long, and I did it all by myself. I got so stressed from creating this video that my jaw could barely open because I grinded my teeth so much and it hurt just to talk. Not only that, I felt the pressure to get a 9-to-5 office job, because many people around me were getting into those fields and I wanted to stop boring my parents. So, with all of that, I decided to go back into my business degree, quit my part-time job, and find an office job to have a more sustainable and normal job. And somehow I miraculously found an HR job, and throughout that time, surprise, surprise, I realized that it was not for me. I really appreciated somehow landing on that opportunity, and my parents were happy for sure, but my God, were those 6 months the longest months I've ever faced. I really wanted to quit, but I really wanted to make my parents and others around me happy, so I stayed. Still, I continued making my video, but this time while in school, yet again, studying in courses that don't have much to do with what I want to do. So, making it became a slower process. This definitely burned me out. But a miracle and irony hit. I got laid off at the beginning of this year. That's something not many people have the privilege to say, and I was distraught at first, but as time went by, I felt it was almost a sign for me. At first, I tried to apply to more office or desk jobs as fast as I could so I wouldn't have to be a disappointment to anyone anymore, but realizing further that I still had the goal of building my art career, I decided to take a break from job hunting and finish my video. I gave myself a month to finish it after finishing the semester at school. I suddenly gained more time to be able to continue making the video and also felt refreshed. Finally, after 1.5 years of putting my blood, sweat, and tears into making this project, it was finally done. I was elated. I felt like I could breathe. I started becoming aligned with myself again. I wanted to try this again, and this time with a clear path and goal. I thought that all the colors in me were almost fading away, but finally they came back. After finishing this video, I decided to give myself till the end of the summer before job hunting again and see if I could be consistent with posting videos on this channel. So here I am, creating video projects that I enjoy making and pursuing to become a full-time artist. And now, finally, after that long backstory, finally we can move on to the goals. So the first goal for my journey is to aim for the type of videos I want to post. At first, I thought about doing anime tutorials like my first cookie recipe video, but since that took me so long, I didn't want it to be the only content I'd focus on. I then thought about doing storytime animation like my working in food service video, but I realized that I don't have that many stories to tell, because my life is pretty boring. Then I thought about doing video essays and movie reviews, and I did try to attempt to write one, but I was stressed and struggling for how to input clips of the movie in the video, and was afraid to get a copyright strike in just my first few videos. I also found writing the script to be challenging for that video. I've said video so much in this entire time, this line, for some reason, even though I felt that I had multiple things to say. I was struggling quite a bit to write the review, and I was scared that I wasn't going to make it by that Friday, since it had already been 2 weeks since posting. But I finally accepted that I wasn't enjoying making the video. I then realized that I really enjoyed acting and randomly memorizing scenes and lines from movies for some reason. My last video had so much love put into it, and I pulled an all-nighter at last minute to create my rendition of a scene from the Incredibles movie. This gave me the idea to do fictional narrative-driven videos, where I create short stories or a series, voice the characters, and draw them all myself. I felt that these type of videos would be the ones that I would enjoy the most. Of course, I have other ideas for this channel, but I felt that this leads me into the path of only focusing on projects that I personally enjoy making and not for anyone else. So my goal too is to build an audience on YouTube and Instagram. I don't expect to gain 1 million subscribers in one night. Heck, I don't even expect to gain 10 subscribers in a month. I want to aim for the long-term and sustainable goal for my art career and make it realistic. I know for sure that I have no control over when my YouTube channel will grow and how high the numbers of subscribers I will reach. So I decided that I will focus on what I can control, and that is your consistency of posting and how much you want to post. For example, my personal goal is to post at least 6 videos in total on my channel by July. The reason that number is so small though for that many months is because I realized that the type of projects that I want to make can't just be done in 1 week. Of course, I want to try to aim for more, but I feel that giving myself more room puts less pressure on me and is achievable. If I don't get to that many videos though, I will go back to finding a full-time job. That doesn't mean that I would be giving up though. I'd still build a routine for myself. I just would adjust to my schedule a bit more and still aim for the long-term goal of being a full-time artist, especially with now getting the momentum of creating my video and knowing what I want. By the time of July, I want to see if I have proven to myself that I really am committed and if there's any continuous growth happening. What I mean by that is if I go from, for example, 10 to 30 subscribers in that time span, and maybe I'm gaining more subscribers little by little. With these two conditions, I will not job search by that time and will continue to put my full attention on this journey. Adding to that, I aim to post consistently on Instagram. I suck at posting on there, especially with short-form videos. I really miss where we could just take a picture of our art, upload it on there, and admire them. Unfortunately, that is not the case anymore, but I decided that I will attempt to post weekly on my page and aim to post short animations and comic strips. Instagram isn't my biggest priority, but I do want to put my eggs in more than one basket in order to have a better chance in becoming a full-time artist. After building an online presence, the third goal is to build an online shop. I have so many plans for my e-commerce store. This time, I want to actually create my own website with my own domain rather than using Etsy. The reason I want to create my own website is because I don't want to have to eventually move over from Etsy to my own website anyway, once I build a more sustainable future for myself. I also personally feel that Etsy isn't a purely handmade online marketplace anymore and is listing more mass-produced items. I decided that I will start building the website once I gain an audience, so I don't have to face the problem I did with the last time on my Etsy shop. Now what I want to sell on there are stickers, handmade earrings, figurines of my characters, possibly prints of my art again, and any more possible ideas that will come. Finally, my fourth goal. After gaining an audience and building an online shop, once these goals have become more sustainable, I want to work on finishing a comic series idea that I've had for a long time and publishing it in the future. I don't want to get too ahead of myself with my goals, but I think having the excitement to create more things keeps me motivated. So how I will get to my goals. 1. Build a routine. I've really been trying to wake up at a consistent time every weekday, making sure I walk my dog and exercise in the morning, then working on my videos. It's not always the same, and life does get in the way at some points, but overall, I want to be disciplined enough and follow through with the plan. Step 2. Try to post every 2 weeks on YouTube and once a week on Instagram. It would be nice if I could post weekly on YouTube, and maybe I will someday, but realistically, I think posting every 2 weeks seems more feasible for me. I do feel that the fictional narrative videos will take me a whole month to make each time, so I think 1 week I would post a speed paint with a possible voiceover like this one to fill the gap, and the next 2 weeks would be the narrative ones. I want to try posting on here on Fridays to be more predictable with my uploads. Then on Instagram, I want to try to post weekly on Wednesdays. This routine would also give me the chance to practice my animation more. I'm a little scared, as I said before, because I suck at posting on Instagram, but hopefully I'll follow through with this one too. Step 3. Once I get to 300 subscribers, I will start my online shop. Like I said, sorry, I've been trying to record this all day. I started dying there for a little. Like I said, I don't know when that number will come, but I know that once I have that certain amount of subscribers, I want to start my website and making the products. Step 4. Finish my comic book. After being consistent with YouTube and my shop, I want to finally finish creating my comic book. This will probably take some years to get to, but it is something I want to integrate into my career journey. And finally, step 5, make sure I give myself a break and not overwork myself. This is ironic considering I might have to stay up late making this video and I'm not very good at this rule, but do as I say, not as I do. I am trying my best to remember to let myself breathe and enjoy this journey. I want to make sure that I focus on my other hobbies I enjoy as well to prevent burnout again. Adding to that, I only want to focus on working on everything on the weekdays in certain time frames throughout the day and allow myself to relax on the weekend. Because the point of becoming a self-employed full-time artist is to work a career you love and not be constrained to a corporate job time. So, those are my plans to become a full-time artist. Things may change if I don't make it to those 6 videos criteria by July, but I am hoping that is not the case and will just have to believe in myself. I know I rambled a lot and was probably all over the place, but I feel that posting this type of video will keep me accountable and pushes me to keep moving forward. Anyway, that is all. I'll be sure to upload more soon. Thank you for watching!